Hello there. For our shave tonight, the brush we're going to be using my Rooney Restore. It's a Rooney handle with a 20 millimeter golden nib 3-band silver tip knot. Tonight's shave is in honor of, or in participation in rather, Open Comb Razor Week on the Shave Mug Society page on Facebook. My open comb razor for this shave will be my old type, lovely shaver, loaded with a Gillette Silver Blue, which I've only shaved with once. And the soap tonight is Tabac. Absolutely love Tabac. Just wonderful stuff altogether. Give me a second. I'm making sure that I'm soaking my badger just a little bit. I want to make sure it gets good and wet. All right. I have a great love for the vintage Gillette, but I have an even greater love for the straight razor. And here lately, that is all that I've shaved with, and absolutely don't have any regrets on that. So I don't often shave with my DEs anymore, although I do like them and do enjoy them when I do. And so I thought I'd make an exception this time, just to have some type of participation in it. I have a long comb new, and I may shave again, use that toward the end of the week to kind of close out the week. The rest of the week will be with my beloved straights. But I mean, I've given away a few of my DEs. Matter of fact, right now, until November the 1st, I have a PIF on the Shave Nook for Black Handle Super Speed. All you have to do is be a member and a CONUS member, someone who resides within the continental United States, to enter that PIF. So if you're a member of the Shave Nook, head on over there, look at the giveaways section, and you'll see that PIF. But I've given away a few of my DEs. I have an SC that I'm going to be giving away somewhere, probably on the Shave Den. I belong to so many different places, and the Shave Den I've won a PIF at, and I've not PIFed back. The Shave Nook I've won a PIF in, and I'm not PIFed back. And I try to, kind of PIF back if I can, if I win a PIF somewhere. It may take me a while, but I try to. And there's so many different places that I belong to that it's not possible for me to PIF everywhere. I just don't have it to do. So when I win something, I try to make a note of that, and just as soon as I can find something that's worthy, I PIF back. But I've been getting rid of a few of my DEs because I don't use them as much. And but I'm not ever going to get rid of all of them. You never know. I could end up not able to use a straight. because of issues with my hands or something like that, and so I want to hang on to some of them for one, and for another, I love my vintage Gillettes. Spent time collecting them and don't plan on demolishing that collection either. So, I love the Tabac. It is just lovely, wonderfully slick, wonderfully creamy, and I love the smell of it. Yes, I know I started backwards and started with a south to north pass. Don't know why, but you know what? I really don't care. Really doesn't matter. I mean, I know that the reason that they say, do north to south pass first, and with my face, this is not correct, but they assume most people have a with the grain, across the grain, and against the grain. Well, that pass I just did for me is across the grain. Against the grain is like that for me, for most of my face. But that's why I say it doesn't matter with me. But the whole idea is you start with the grain. This is why. It's important to understand why. A lot of guys start wet shaving and they just follow the mantras with the grain, across the grain, against the grain. They don't understand why, so they think that's the only way you can shave. You need to understand why so that you can break the rules if they're not appropriate and don't fit your face. And they don't fit mine. But generally, the advice to go with the grain first, across the grain second, and then if you need more to do against the grain is because with the grain is considered the mildest form of shaving. Across the grain is considered to be a little more aggressive for people's face, beard, and skin. And a lot of times, especially on the neck, a lot of guys just cannot physically abide an against the grain pass at all without irritation and all kind of burn and stuff like that. So that's why with the grain, against the grain, or with the grain, across the grain, and against the grain in that order, from least susceptibility to irritation to most. But I don't have a problem with against the grain. I got skin like a rhino, and I don't get irritation. So I can do whatever I want to. I don't have to follow, and you don't either. If your skin is appropriate for a different way of doing things, you can do whatever you want. It's your shave. But I don't have a problem with it, and my beard rather, grows so wonky. This past north to south here and down here on my face, that's with the grain. But it's across the grain here. And it's across the grain back up on my cheeks and on my neck here. But actually, as a matter of fact, on my neck, my hair, on these two sides of the neck and right up along this jaw line, my hair does this. It just swirls in about every direction you can possibly think of. And so none of the with, across, or against the grain ideas even matter to my neck. There is no with, across, or against. It's just depending on wherever that blade is. This way, on my neck, it could be either one of those because of the way my hair grows, my beard grows. And that's something that I would really encourage shavers, when you're new, you need to pay attention to with the grain, against the grain, across the grain, and all the other do this, do that kind of deals, because you need to get, pulled my mustache hair, I hate when that happens. You need to get familiar with everything. But once you get to where you shave 6 months or a year, and you've gotten your technique down, and all of that, and you've mapped your beard and understand the way that your hair grows, and you've gotten an idea of how sensitive you are to shaving in certain areas of your face, for DE shavers, you've found the blades that work well for you, that kind of stuff. Once you get all that basic stuff over with, then you need to try to understand the why of things so that you can find out whether they truly meet what you need individually as a shaver. If they do, good. But if they don't, then if you understand why, then you can choose what's best for you. And to me, that's really the most important thing in regards to growth in wet shaving, is to take it from the basic kind of, okay, this is how it's done, generally, to this is what works for my face and my beard and all of that. That's important, I think, because there's a lot of shavers that have never grown, which is one of the reasons I was on a forum earlier, and one of the there was a post on there I can't get a cross grain pass on my neck with a straight razor, with the grain, or east-west, west-east, however you want to call it. Well, no, you can't, unless you got a big old bubble neck that sticks way out from, there's too many hollows and stuff like that. Straight razor blade is too long, too wide. Okay? You're going to have to compromise in those areas. But, a lot of people, they shave with a DE for a long time, and they're used to easily getting that pass like that on their neck, and they come to a straight razor and they get all frustrated because they can't do that. Well, it's a different animal. It's a different tool. You have to understand that. Take that into account, and you might not get wonderful. Across the grain, you might have to go diagonally. You might have to do, I do like 2 south to north passes a lot of times. A lot of times I do a north to south, 2 north to south passes, because both of those are across the grain to me. It doesn't make any difference. Well, they're all over here, so it don't make any difference. You need to understand what your beard is doing and realize, okay, what everybody's telling me is good on a quote, perfect beard that grows perfectly north-south with the grain, east-west across the grain, and south-north against the grain. But you know what? I really think that's probably rare that somebody has that exact growth pattern on their face. If you do, you're a lucky man. Because most guys I talk to, when I start reading on forums and stuff like that, they don't have that. Anyway, their beard is wonky and goes all over the place. English leather. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff, it depends not only, on the kind of beard you've got, but it depends, lovely. It depends also on the type of razor you're using, and all kinds of different things. So, I mean, understanding the principle behind why things are done a certain way will help you to modify your technique to get the best with what you're using. That's the deal. All right, I'm that just came to my mind while I was shaving. A lot of what I talk about on my videos do exactly that. Anyway, old type, Gillette Silver Blue, Open Comb Razor Weed. Thanks for joining me. God bless you. And I'll talk to you later.